So it has been a pretty busy 1.5 weeks so far. Lots and lots of stuff has happened. I would say that this is actually a pretty big change in my life because I've actually been doing interesting, documentable things. So I came back from a Soyuz, great vacation. It was a great place. Lots and lots of wine, even though I'm not legal yet. Less than a month till my birthday, so I don't know what that means. But yeah, I have a whole video planned for that. I don't want to get into too much detail about it right now because there's a lot of stuff to cover because the Soyuz was just that crazy awesome of a place. You may notice that I have a pretty bad tan. Like if you look right here, I have a really weird glasses tan. So there's that. I also have a really bad tan like on my legs, but you don't have to see that, nor do I think you want to. So I also finally got on with the performance that I kept on talking to you guys about. It was great. So let's do a little breakdown of it. So I was able to cover some stuff behind the scenes. Now this was really crazy because most of the performance I've done are just like these small, tiny like things that you do in front of like maybe a maximum of 30 people. The biggest thing I've ever done was a competitive style sort of performance, and it was in front of I think like maybe a club full of 80 people. So, and I think that already was pretty big of a performance for me. This performance was something much bigger. There was a whole production crew. They had these crazy cameras. There were these two huge screens like right beside the stage on the left and right of it, and then there was a camera that was on it, so like my face was not only, you know, on my head on my stage, but also projected on these two massive screens next to me, which was crazy. And the whole thing was in the Doug Mitchell UBC Thunderbird Stadium. I'm not sure what that actually is called because there's apparently 2 Thunderbird stadiums, I think. I should know this, I go to that school. But it's a pretty big stadium and we only ever actually used half of it because apparently we didn't have that many people. But that many people was 2,000 people, like a lot of people. It was really crazy and it was really hard for me to take in. Like, you know, building up to the performance was pretty crazy, thinking about, you know, I'm gonna be performing for a lot of people. They prefaced it like that. You're gonna be performing for a lot of people. These are first year students coming from different kinds of countries and backgrounds. And it was 2,000 of them. Pretty crazy. So all the crazy equipment, there's a lot of setup, there was a lot of rehearsal time. And I think probably the best part, other than maybe performing for so many people and getting to meet so many of these great people and make connections and forge friendships, was free food. I think as a university student who is not super financially stable, free food, or I think free anything in general, but free food specifically is just, it's fantastic. I got some free breakfast, I got a free lunch, I got another free meal at one of the other rehearsals, which was crazy. And it's crazy to think that I get paid to perform, to share my talents, and then I get food as an accommodation, which was great, which is always the best part. So I remember mentioning in my last video when I was in a Soyuz, I mentioned a lot about stress and having to, you know, the whole creative process. And that was also a huge part of the rehearsals and the performance itself, because there was a lot of time and effort being put in, not just by me, but by everyone else, the production crew, the director. So there's a lot of stuff going into it and it really gets pretty hectic, especially in like maybe the final minutes leading up to the performance. I remember the director was going crazy because people were going to the washroom and it was really hectic, and I could feel her stress because it was also like, oh, I'm performing with these people, where are they? Show time's in like 5 minutes, they're in the washroom, what's going on? So yeah, it was a pretty crazy time. So I did want to talk about stress one more time, but especially in not only this kind of, you know, performance setting, but also professional setting, in an academic setting. And that's when I talked to Simia.
So at a personal level, when I first joined UBC, it was a very difficult transition for me, and I feel like I had to seek support, and it was important for me to be open to that. So I did go to counseling services, I seeked help, I went to student health services, and I seek help from there. But after a point, I think that was just the beginning, and then after that, I just looked at people who inspired me, and my mom was there with me throughout that whole time, and she helped me so much, and I just looked up to that. I was like, if this woman gave birth to me and she is so strong, like, of course I can be that strong, and like, of course I can do it. That's what I use to wake me up every day and think of her beautiful face. So I'm always very open to going to professors. That is what I learned during my first few days of Jumpstart or at UBC. And what people told me was, go to your professor. Just go to your professor and seek help. Do not be worried about whether it's going to be a stupid question or not. So every time I felt stressed, I was like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, let's just go to the professor. So I met my professor after class. I met my professor in office hours, and I was like, okay, this is my problem. I don't know what to do. Can you help me out? And they were there, whether it be academic or just me stressing out in general. So yeah. I think I would say accept it, be okay with the fact that you're stressed, accept that, and then seek out help. Because sometimes people are worried about even accepting it. They're like, everyone else is doing fine, so why am I so stressed? And it's like, no, be okay with being stressed, be okay not to be okay, and then go seek out help. That is what I would say.
Now, I like what Simia says about acknowledging the fact that you are in a state of stress. I think that is probably the first thing, really getting around it, because a lot of people say that, like, yes, you're not actually stressed. This is just your body telling yourself that you are doing something. I hear people that like deny that they're even in stress or say that stress is like a good thing for you, which maybe it is. It tells your body that you're doing good work and that it's, I don't know, I don't really know, I don't manage stress super duper well, but it's good to at least acknowledge that you are in that state, because then you can start working towards working around it or fixing it or getting to a better state, which is not stress, by getting free food. I'm sorry, free food, man. Butter chicken, free butter chicken. Butter chicken is very expensive. Well, to me, it's like $13 per order. I can still smell it. But back to stress, again, it's good to address that and then to be able to acknowledge that you're in that, because whether it's in a performance setting, people going crazy during rehearsal times, or in a professional setting, you're not really working well with your coworkers, or in an academic setting, when finals really get at you and you're trying to make your dumb bi-weekly series at the same time and still have it be quality content but also do well on your finals. Whew, that's a pretty relatable stress, let me tell you. But yes, so that was this week. Those are my thoughts. New videos coming out soon. See you later.